What's happening, guys? It is September 8th, and admittedly, I took a whole bunch of footage yesterday and meant to edit it together and publish it, but I'm kind of frustrated. It turned out to be absolutely garbage. I don't know if my hand's just too shaky or if my stabilization settings are wrong, but anyhow, scrapped all that footage, and today I'm going to be telling you what I wanted to tell you about yesterday, which is AWS's open source launch. It's actually really neat. It is called Event Ruler, and it's based off of an AWS service. Let me go look that up. Okay, so the service that it's based off of is called AWS Event Bridge, and essentially it's an event rules engine that will take in any events and basically separate them out to wherever they need to go based off the rules you've defined. And I was thinking about this, I'm like, that seems pretty useless. Like, just build the rules in or have your services subscribe to what they need to. So let's take a look at that, as well as a couple other open source launches that have happened since then. So let's take a look. Here we have the announcement for open sourcing Event Ruler, which, by the way, AWS peeps, if you're open sourcing something, let others know so that we can promote it for you, because sharing is caring. Anyhow, it's based off of Amazon's EventBridge, and what EventBridge is it's a rule-based engine, it seems like, where you can basically apply arbitrary rules and route packets based off of their content. So here in their example, you have an image, it's got width, height, etc. And then you can trigger based off of that, where width is and height is, then send it somewhere. So it's a routing service. And the first question I had was like, does anyone actually need this? For most people, if you're going to be, my screen has died. Oh, that was weird. Okay. My screen just went black for me. Anyhow, if you're going to be taking and you need packets to go different places, why not just consume from the right topic? So normally you'll have Apache Kafka topics, and your services will just consume from whichever one they need to, right? So that makes sense, but I just realized that doesn't work if you don't have control over the services that are consuming events. So say, for example, you have a Cisco router, and that router sends off event logs. There are certain types of logs that you might want to go to your security system. And there are certain types of logs that you might want to go to your log collector, like OpenSearch. Shameless plug. But regardless, some of these things you don't have control over, and they don't actually consume from, or they don't consume, they are consumers. I said that wrong. They are sent packets. They don't consume packets. They don't specify where the packets come from. So something like Event Ruler here, it seems like, would be used as a middle service. You send everything to Event Ruler, and then Event Ruler breaks it up, can duplicate it, and route packets where they need to go. That's actually pretty neat. If we go to here they have their nice little ruler example and or how to use it. The one thing that I will just knock them on is they didn't actually talk about how you deploy this. Great, I have Event Ruler. Now what? How do I make it a service? How do I deploy it onto a server? What are the security, concerns? How do I enable TLS? Some of that might actually be in here. I've only done a cursory look, but from the most part, it just seems like, oh, look, here's our, Java library, and here's contributing, and good luck. So that's interesting. regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing what people do with this. I am always for putting stuff out in the open because you never know what people are going to be interested in, and what might be relevant to other people. So it's going to be neat to see what happens, but just smack on the wrist. You guys should know, someone needs to know how to actually use this rather than just like little examples. Like maybe a full demo would be really cool. Sorry, Chrome, I know you're not my default browser. Another interesting open source release that's happening or in the process of is LTR. So for those who aren't familiar, LTR stands for Learn to Rank. And Learn to Rank is basically the process by which a search engine will see you've made a search, you've clicked on a result, and then there's an outcome. And you maybe bought the product, or you stayed on the page and read the entire article, whatever it might be. So it's a feedback loop for that search. You entered in some text, you found the item that you were looking for, and that is then used and fed back as training so that the next time someone types in that search, whichever thing you clicked on and stayed on is the most relevant thing. This is a really, really useful plugin, and there's one for Elasticsearch. Admittedly, Grant Ingersoll, who is like one of the Learn to Rank guys, he has a course on CoRise. I really recommend you check it out. He's not paying me to say that. I just think it's a really great course. He actually just forked it so that it can work for OpenSearch, it being the previous one. What's really interesting, though, if I get back to it, is what Open Source Connections is building right now, which they're building a separate, outside of any one particular implementation, Learn to Rank. I don't want to call it a plugin. It's like a library, I guess. They're calling it, let's see, MetaRank, which is a personalization service. So what I'm imagining is this is some service that sits outside of your, text search engine, whether that's Elasticsearch, OpenSearch, Solr, whether you're actually crazy enough to use Lucene just raw. And it seems like this should be able to like bolt onto any of those systems and give you Learn to Rank functionality, which is super cool. And I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I'm not sure. I mean, they plug for Open Source Connections Haystack Conference, which is happening in EU in like a couple weeks. I'll have a link to that down in the bio. But that is where they're going to be launching it and showing the world, hey, look, this is what it is, and this is how it works. So that's going to be really exciting. But again, I wish I could see it now. Maybe it is out there on GitHub, and I just haven't found it yet. But anyhow, so that is today's open source update, I guess. Yeah, a lot of really fun stuff going on, and make sure to follow along. Oh, coming back though, I didn't close the loop. So Event Ruler, I think there is a reason for it. I think there is a purpose for it. I think that we're going to see how it works, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Subscribe. And comment what you think we should do next.
Engagement. Buy my merch. And other things that people say. Don't scream. Click the bell to get notifications. Don't have screaming children.